What's going on, guys? Corporate hustler. I remember my daughter asking me a question: would I ever go back to retail? And the reason why she asked me that is, I'm telling my age with this story, but back in 98, all the way till it was about 3 years time, 2001, 98 to 2001, I don't remember the months, to be honest with you. I had my own retail cell phone store. This is back before all the big box stores like Walmart were selling phones. It's that far back that you had to actually be a cell phone dealer to sell phones. Now the cell phone franchise is probably way too expensive, but back then it was relatively easy to get in the game. They had like these sub dealers that would sign you up, and it was relatively easy. You just needed a spot. I lasted for about 3 years, like I said, and it was hard. Advertising was hard. People were still doing radio advertising. We were still doing flyer advertising, if you could believe it. Literally printing up flyers, putting them on cars, old school methods, just to bring in money. It was a very slow process, and it brought in very little money. But my daughter asked me, would I go back to retail? I would go back for myself in my own business. And I'll tell you why. YouTube. Now that I've been on YouTube for several years, I know that YouTube could help you if you already have a business or a retail location. Really ramp up sales, and it really could work for you because people want to see you in a natural setting. People kind of are still old school minded in the sense that they want to see you online, but they want to know you have a brick and mortar location sometimes, because they still equate brick and mortar locations with, oh, you have a real business. You're not just online. So of course, yes, I would actually go back, and I think it would actually be more productive and bring in more video views simply having a retail location. But back in 2001, 98 to 2001, there was no YouTube. I'm trying to remember when YouTube came about, but I want to say like 2008 maybe YouTube was invented or came out. I didn't even hear about YouTube until much later on, probably like 2010, 11. And then I didn't physically get on YouTube till probably about 2017, I probably would say. 2016, 2017 is probably when I uploaded my first video. And I really didn't take YouTube as serious as I do now. I don't get as many views as I used to, but that's okay. We're still on here. We're doing our thing. I'm letting you know I'm alive. I'm not disappearing. You know, every now and then I'm doing more video content, but I'm thinking about going automation wise, as far as there will be a lot more automation because of AI. So I'm going to be doing less and less videos like this for obvious reasons. AI just makes it more easy, time freedom. I'll still occasionally come out here and do a video like this, but it'll be less often, let's just say. Few and far between, let's just say. But I enjoy YouTube, and I think if you have a retail business, right now and you're not on YouTube, you're hurting yourself. You're actually hurting yourself, because you could get so much free exposure from simply uploading videos like this every day, showing you what you have to offer in your retail location. And if it's a local channel, local business, I think it even works better, because you'll get the people in your area to come stop by. They might even want to be on the channel. I'm actually thinking about going retail in the future just for that reason. You know, get a real physical brick and mortar location, still be on YouTube, still be doing YouTube content only on one channel though. I don't think I'll be focusing on doing that on multiple channels, but I'll do that on at least one channel, and then the other channels might be automated. I got like 6 channels, 5 I actively post on. So out of that 5, I probably will have the one that I post daily content of what's going on in the brick and mortar location, and then the other 4 will be automation. Probably the next guy driver in particular will probably be automation. I think automation will do well with that while I'm just talking about rideshare. But I enjoy coming on here, but I'm telling you, if you have a brick and mortar business or thinking about doing a brick and mortar business and you don't include YouTube, you're hurting yourself. You need 2 things, I think, to save yourself on a lot of paid advertising. You need YouTube and you need AI automation and tools. And a lot of them are free. A lot of these AI tools are coming out are free. Google's coming out with tons and tons of free tools that can help you. You know, the only thing I'm thinking about paying for is ChatGPT. I'm thinking about doing a $20 a month membership, but other than that, I'm trying to, as best I can, to stop spending money on AI tools because it's getting expensive. That's the only reason why I don't want to keep going and going and going with the paying for AI tools. But Google has a treasure full of free tools that they're coming out constantly. Go check out Google right now. What's a good one right now? The Notebook LM, goldmine. Now you could do videos in like presentation format, so that's going to make it easy for a lot of content creators. But I enjoy the retail game when it was for myself. Now, I've done a lot of, once my business failed after 3 years, because I still consider it a failure, I went into retail for other companies, mainly cell phone companies. And I was at Bed Bath & Beyond for about 10 years of my life. And that was my last 10 years, but my last retail job was Bed Bath & Beyond. And then I was working for a group home. I was working for a community center right after Bed Bath, and then a group home was my final and last job before I became self-employed. Currently, I still do drive Uber and Lyft part-time. A lot of people probably will say, oh, you're not part-time, but 5 hours a day to me is part-time. I do about 5, 6, probably Thursday and Friday, but mainly 5 hours between Monday and Wednesday. And I pretty much try to take the weekends off for family time. To me, that's part-time, because the average Uber driver drives on average at least 8 hours every day. That's just the average. I would say some drivers, particularly in New York City, they could drive 10 to 12 hours a day. They have no life. They're tired all the time. I got my coffee. I'm actually sitting here at a park right now, enjoying life, drinking a coffee. I drive, this is my early morning shift. I try to do like 3 hours in the morning, and then I'll do a few, maybe 1 or 2 hours in the afternoon. But today's Thursday, so I'll probably do 3 this afternoon. But I don't work hard doing the Uber and Lyft thing anymore because it doesn't pay like it used to. I am ramping up online sales, thanks to AI tools. I'm focusing more on that. I'm still renting the rooms. For those of you who've been following me for a while, I rent 2 bedrooms in my apartment to cover my rent. And maybe you could say it probably covers 1 utility. Renting maybe 1 utility. But thank God my landlord hasn't gone up anymore on the rent. Because if he did, it would kill me. My goal is simple. Make enough money to purchase my first home. I never purchased a home before. I'm 54 years old. I'll be 55 in December, which is right around the corner. And that's my main goals. And I think I'll be able to do it, not just because of everything I'm doing, but I really think AI is going to play a big part in my success in the future going forward. And I'm thinking about actually building my new holding company. If you want to hear videos on that, I'll be talking about it, breaking it down step by step. And I'm going to be taking a NAICS code software publisher. One of the reasons why I'll be doing software publisher is because it's low risk, and anything low risk is going to help you get business and corporate credit in the future. Something to think about. You should be focusing on building a company with a low risk name, not using your own name, not using your last name. I don't think it can be a combination, I would say, of your last name and something else. But low risk, I would not put, for example, if I were doing a rideshare company or transportation company, I would not put rides in the name, transportation in the name. I see a lot of companies doing that, and they can still build corporate credit. Don't get me wrong. They can still build business credit, and even with a high risk name, you still could build credit. It's just going to limit you on how much. I'm waiting till the first of the year to actually launch my new holding company. I have one now that I use for in Navy Fed, that I use for basically affiliate marketing, my online stuff. But I'm thinking about launching this one, not for anonymity, but I'm going to build this company as if I were building it to sell in the future. And I think that's the way to go. It's going to own one operating company, which is going to be transportation. That will be an LLC under this, and I'm thinking about making this a traditional C Corp, because I believe C Corps gain even more corporate credit than LLCs. You could build a lot of credit, of course, with an LLC, but I think a traditional C Corp is needed if you're building a company that you want to sell in the future, or you want to take investors in the future. And truthfully, I might even take this public. I might build this company, take it public one day. So that's how I want to build it. I already have a low risk name in mind that I'm using. Some of you could probably guess it from one of my channels. And I'm really focused on my journey. Even though I'm getting older, I'm kind of thinking of like the young man's game, that I have time to build this thing out the next 10 years. God willing, I'll live, 30, 40, maybe even 50 years with modern medicine. It's possible. I'm relatively healthy. I even quit smoking weed because I want to go after certain licenses. So essentially, I'm working on 2 companies going into next year. I know I did videos saying I was going to do it this year, but I'll be honest, I was doing so much, and this year is almost over. It makes no sense to me to start a company this close to the end of the year and have to pay tax on it, even though it's only 2 months old or whatever. I could do everything this year, but I figured January is literally right around the corner. Like, we're down to, like, you might as well say this month's over. We got, what, 3 more months? So that's what I'm working on. That's my goal. It's been working out. I mean, my rent is paid. You could kind of say I'm rent free, even though I don't feel like it. I'm paying down debt. Oh, another reason why I'm waiting, because my score is going slowly up, and by next year, hopefully, I'll be at 700s, high 700s, going into next year, which I'm gonna personally guarantee my first round of funding for the business. And then the business should fund itself going after that, because I'll build enough corporate credit where I don't have to keep using personal guarantee. I'll probably have to personally guarantee probably the first 150,000 on my own. I was put out a call for people that wanted to join the corporation, and nobody bought or bought into the idea. I guarantee once I get my own round of funding, it'll be easy to find people to join my corporation. I originally was looking for like 4 people. Now I'm only looking for 2. Because if I have to self-fund my own corporation, I only want 2 people to go on as officers. So when we make a decision, it's not an even split, so we can make a decision. Somebody has to break the tie. That's the only reason why I'm looking for at least 2 people, 2 lucky people, because they'll be a part of the corporation and they'll be officers, so they will get paid. And if I'm going to spend my own hard-earned money to acquire these people, I'm damn sure going to make sure they're qualified, meaning they're going to have to basically show they have some skills, and marketing, preferably have a following. I would like one person to be good in sales and one person to be good in AI technology. And of course, I'll be acting CEO, but that might change. I might eventually in the future just want to be chairman of the board and hire actual CEO. You know, somebody more qualified than me. I'm not really qualified to be a real CEO for a company that's public. But if I could get to that point where we're about to go public, I would go get a professional and bring them either COO or CEO of the company. You know, because I want to do this right. Going into 2026, I want to do this right. This is my last shot at being successful to the level that I want to be successful. Some people might say I'm successful now. How many people do you know personally that can say their rent is paid? Even though I'm typically, I think I'm still struggling, my rent is paid. I'm paying down debt. I only work physically part-time, you know, because I don't count what I do online at home as work. I only count when I'm driving as actual work, physical work. So I don't feel like I actually work hard. I enjoy my little time with my family. I'm not focused on any relationship situations right now. I think that comes later And I think a lot of you guys should be thinking the same way. You know, particularly if you're younger. I think if you're younger, like under 30, you should be focusing on getting your money right, then start dating. Because dating is still money. You got to spend money to go out. You got to spend money to, granted, you don't probably have to spend as much money, you know, as people once did, but you still want to make somebody happy. You're going to spend some money. You're going to spend money for dates. You're going to spend money to buy clothes. I pretty much wear what a typical Uber driver wears, you know, hats, hoodies, nothing special. But if I started dating somebody regularly, I probably would start shopping. Knowing me. You know, now I do have a friend, but that's something I would say I'm not treating as something serious. I treat it as what it is, a friend that you hang out with, maybe go to movies with, but you don't have to go out and spend any major date money, I would say, you know. And that's how I'm pretty much living right now. I don't try to bring any women back to my apartment, you know, for safety. Because if I did start, let's say I started seeing somebody and it started getting serious, for some reason I feel at this stage it's not good to have drama where I live because I have roommates. And I hope to continue that even when I get my first home. Now, my first home, because my kid is grown, I have a grown kid. I'm a grandfather, for God's sake, so I don't have any young children to worry about. I'm only looking for a small house. I'm not even looking for something big or bulky. I'm literally looking for like a 2-bedroom house, something very reasonable, something that I can build out one room as an office. The other one would be obviously where I live, where I sleep, obviously. And a really modest living room that I probably won't spend that much time in. I'll probably spend more time in my bedroom than the living room, actually. Clean kitchen. One thing about renting rooms, I notice I get the urge to want to come home and have things the way I left them. And if you're renting rooms, you can't experience that, because I think no matter what you do, if you're living with people, they're not going to keep the apartment the way you want it. You know, maybe if you're in a relationship, you can kind of coach your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend how you want your place, but I don't even foresee living with anybody in the near future, even after I purchase a home. I want to literally date somebody that has their own space, and I come home to my own space, and then we'll meet in the middle. Maybe we'll stay at each other's houses from time to time, but I'm so content with wanting to go back to being by myself after this experiment that I call it, that actually pays bills. And I don't know anybody that's done what I've done personally. I don't know anybody who's personally rented rooms and taking money weekly. I know people that rent rooms, but I don't know anybody that does it weekly. And my success rate has been pretty good. I only had one guy that I had to get rid of for non-payment. I've pretty much rented to about, oh my God, 6, maybe 5, 6 guys. One guy has been consistently good the whole time. And one of the rooms happens to be the biggest room. I've had periodically different people, but only one I had to get rid of for just stop paying me. He just literally stopped paying me. So I would say that's a pretty good track record. But once I get my own home, my daughter asked me, are you going to rent a room at your own place. No, I'm done. And it's for the reasons I said. I just want my own space, my own freedom. I want to be able to bring a girl over and not have to introduce her to one of the roommates that I don't particularly like, you know what I mean? And I just want to enjoy that time in my own space alone sometimes. Maybe get a dog, maybe a cat, maybe a fish tank, you know, for my own personal entertainment. And even though I'm getting older, I'm thinking about traveling. I'm thinking about getting a retail space to do physical coaching, because online is cool and I love it. And we'll be using YouTube, like I said, to attract people to the retail. But I think having a retail location and sharing my life experiences with physical people is healthy for me. I think it's healthy for me and others to interact, because I was watching this one news interview where they were saying that particularly males, we don't interact with women in the public enough anymore, particularly young men. Young men are in trouble because they spend so much time online and they're losing their skills to communicate. And I get that, because we focus so much on online that we're forgetting there's a real world out here. That's why I'm doing this video and I'm sitting here overlooking the park, because nature is here. Kids need to get out more, still do your online stuff, but how much better would it be if I had a real location, you know, say something that I can bring physical members to, interact with them on a one-on-one basis, and still get video content. It's a win-win for everybody. I still could communicate with people. I'll get the benefit of learning how to conduct myself in front of people, because I'm an introvert. So YouTube behind the camera has always been easy. I found it really hard to sit in front of a crowd and express myself. But you got to learn, you got to practice, and I need that practice myself. And what better way to do that than to have a retail location that you can invite people to, coach them one-on-one on starting entrepreneurship, becoming a business, maybe having a place where entrepreneurs and business professionals meet each other and trade commerce with each other, trade what they do. If you're a doctor, you can refer your business out. If you're a car dealer, you can refer your business out. I think that would be great. We used to do that back in the 2000s. I think it started dying off, and obviously COVID killed it, because we couldn't be interacting anymore. But I think we need to go back to that. I think we need to go back to like meetups and having coffee, and not have it as stressful as like a network marketing seminar, nothing like that, but having a place to meet once a week, you know, say on a Saturday or Sunday, or even one day during the week, get free food, you know, provided by the membership, enjoy each other's company, trade commerce, you know, and get video content. You know, everybody will be at the location, can whip out the cameras and get video content at the location. So it's a win-win for everybody, kind of. That's my goal. That's my plan. I'm giving it to you all. I'm giving you the whole plan, the whole format. And feel free to copy and do it in your neighborhood, your environment. We're in a society where we need to not forget how to communicate with one another outside of online. You know, I don't want to stop anybody from going into AI and doing your video content, but we still need to interact as people. And this is an introvert telling you this. You know, we still need to do this as humans. And like I said, they said young men are having problems even talking to women because they spend so much time online. They said women are doing better. So women, thumbs up, because women are actually doing better with communicating with the real world. Because they're not sitting on video games all day or sitting on YouTube all day as much as men. Guys my age aren't necessarily the problem. I think it was younger men, but we have to coach and help each other. I know there's people smarter than me. Yeah, I know there's tons of people smarter than me. Imagine if I had a location, bring them together and say, look, I want to go public. I have the people that I could have go public right there in my hand, where I can shake their hand rather than just going online and be like, yeah, check this out. And you still have the people online. So it's kind of like a win-win. I'm not going to necessarily say I want to do that in the town I live in. I'm thinking a little bit more prestigious. I'm thinking, this is probably what I recommend to you guys. Pick a town that it's considered more high end and try to do it there if you can, if possible. You know, in my case, I'm in the greater Hartford area, and West Hartford seems to be where the elite go, where the business professionals go. If I can lock down a location and say West Hartford somewhere, that would be a win. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but that would be a win. Some other locations, I would say anywhere by the shoreline, you know, would be a win. Norwalk, Stanford, West Haven. Anything by the shoreline would be a plus, you know. And I don't think it has to be necessarily huge, but it's got to be big enough. I would say event space size. Think event space to do something like this. And that's all I really got for you guys. In-depth look into my life. Thank you for your time. Listen to me rant. I'm going to get back at it. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Share some of the videos. I appreciate the support I've gotten over the years. And I hope you continue to watch going forward and be entertained. And hopefully the entertainment will get better as time goes on. And I look forward to you coming back and visiting every now and then if you can. Like I said, I'm gonna get back at it. Subscribe, like, comment. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Thank you.